Hi! I am heading up to New Bedford, Massachusetts. Actually, I'm heading up to Fall River, Massachusetts, where my hotel is, and I'm working in New Bedford this week for a little while. I'm actually in Brantford, Connecticut, believe it or not. And I don't know why you wouldn't believe that. I'm here for work, and I'm going up more north, and I'm gonna be around the Fall River area. And normally I go up to Boston when I'm here, but I thought it'd be fun to just go look at all the changing leaves and have a little bit of a chill, laid-back vlog. My life has been extremely chaotic in the last, what feels like at least a month and a half or something. But for the most part, it's because some very exciting news is happening, which is radically changing my life, which happens like way too often, honestly. But it's so much happening that I feel like the anxiety has been very high for me, even the good anxiety. So I'm happy to have a little bit of like chill time. The last couple days was full of a little bit of chill time, although it also was full of high anxiety for a different reason. A couple days ago, some friends came over. We built a whole like floor nest, like blanket fort type of situation, and we played until dawn, until pretty much dawn. And I've also been sick for about a week, so it was like a chill time, but we were screaming also the whole time because it was very scary. And I'm still technically recovering. I think I'm pretty much all better to the point where I'm willing to be in front of a camera again, but it has definitely been a harrowing experience for multiple reasons. I'm teasing something, I guess, because I just am being very like superstitious and paranoid about telling people stuff yet, but something really big is on the horizon. Something really big is happening. So stay tuned, I guess. But honestly, right now I'm just focused on having a nice time. And I'm not going to overexert myself this time. I normally go on these trips and I try to do a million things, and this time I think I'm just going up there. I have the whole rest of the day to just travel 2 hours north on a little car ride and enjoy myself in Fall River today and have a nice chill time. So that's what we're trying to do. I don't really have anything that I'm planning to do at all other than just look around, explore a little bit, and then get to bed at a reasonable hour. That's all I have planned for today. So let's see what I can actually get done. And even if I don't get a lot done, that's totally fine. It's chill. The temperature and the weather gets chill around this season for a reason. It's telling you, chill. My audiobook situation, because of course I'm listening to something on my drive. I just finished a couple books that were basically just like anxiety self-help books, so I'm trying to get back into my fiction cycle, because I've been enjoying a lot of fiction books, but it's just been a long time since I've found something that I really enjoyed. So I'm listening to The Ministry of Time right now, which is about a guy who's considered an expat, like a dude in the army who would have died many years ago, but he was brought to our time. And the Ministry of Time is full of people who act as kind of like people who bridge the gap. They're called bridges, who help out with the people who are from the past to integrate them into the present time, just to sort of experiment with time travel and see, can we actually integrate these people into regular life? Even though it has this huge time travel element to it, so far it's really just a guy from the old times being like, what is the internet? What is that thing that you claim is a plane flying in the air? And him just not really understanding a lot of things of our present day and slowly but surely coming to terms with it. Honestly, he's integrating super well. And I think it turns into a love story eventually. So it's between our main character, who is the bridge, and this guy. So hopefully it's like a very cute, fun story. I also want to start We Came to Welcome You, which I am buddy reading with Chanel from Chanel Time. And I also really want to read Legends and Lattes, which I'm buddy reading with Jess and Nicole, respectively. So We Came to Welcome You is a story about a woman named Sol, and she and her wife are moving to this like HOA community, gated community, and it has all these like increasingly weird rules and stuff in the contract that starts to creep in and turn into this sort of like suburban weird thriller that talks about sort of like the pressures and the intensities of being an other in the community. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff with like racism and homophobia probably a part of this. And for Legends and Lattes, this is a book that so many people have probably read and loved and talked about on BookTube at this point, but it still is something that I have not really touched. And this is about an orc woman who has been an adventurer for years and decides, I'm putting down my axe and I just want to open a coffee shop, a cafe. I just want to have my cozy, simple life. That's like the perfect book for the vibe of this trip to me. Like, I'm just going up to see the fall leaves, the changing of the seasons, and to just have a chill time and enjoy myself. So I'm sure there's like the other people from her past that keep showing up and trying to get her involved in the action again, but she's like, I just want to chill so bad. So I think they'll both be pretty fun stories for me to pick up, and that's kind of on my reading agenda. I think that's too much for me to read during this particular trip, because it's obviously like super short, but we'll just see how things go. And fingers crossed, hoping for the best for this trip. I'm going to drive 2 hours north, and then we'll just see what the changing of the seasons looks like up in beautiful Massachusetts. I'm sitting here in my hotel room. I'm finally having my food, which I got delivered. Edamame, little veggie hibachi, clear soup. All this because I'm like still kind of feeling a little bit sick. Also, I got this strawberry milk tea without the boba, which was $7.50, and honestly, this is just strawberry milk. I was looking for stuff to do, and honestly, I said earlier that I was like, well, I'm gonna play it by ear, but I don't know what to do here. Like, I looked around where I was like, what do I do? What should I do? And I was passing through Providence, and I stopped very briefly, basically like parked my car, looked around the river, and was just like, I guess I'll go to my hotel, because I looked up stuff to do, and it was like, go to the museum that's closed, or go to this restaurant that's closed. I still don't really feel like there's that much stuff that I feel like I can go and see in the middle of like a day, because I arrived around like maybe 4 o'clock or something. So a lot of things were already about to close anyway, so I didn't really feel like I had that much that I could just stumble into and enjoy in a serendipitous way. So that kind of stinks. But I figured the whole point of this was kind of just have like a chill time. So I did start, we came to welcome you. I'm not very far in, I think maybe I'm on like chapter 2 or 3 or something at this point. So Sol and her wife Alice move into this HOA community. Main character Sol works at Yale, and her wife works in marketing. It's supposed to have like this suburban horror to it because there's sort of these like strange, odd things that will begin to happen with like doors and stairs and things disappearing. So far, she's just met the HOA committee who came with a basket with wine and stuff, but they kind of made some weird comments that insinuated that like obviously Sol wouldn't be the one to go to Yale, and Sol's like, that's fucked up. Is it because I'm black that they thought like I wouldn't be the Yale graduate that they assume because Alice is Asian, so then they would assume that it was hers. And they gave wine to the two of them as like a welcome gift, but Sol has a drinking problem, so she feels like this is not a good gift for me, but also I would love to indulge. And that means we're setting ourselves up for an unreliable narrator, which is always fun. I was reading a little bit of Ministry of Time. I am enjoying it for sure, but I feel like it's not that I'm not in the mood for it, but I feel like it's the kind of book that I just need to like put on and do something else at the same time. I was going to meet up with somebody from a corporate office tomorrow for sort of like a meet and greet thing. That got moved to Wednesday, so now my afternoon has really opened up for tomorrow. So again, I don't know what to do here, but I'm gonna have to do some research and just see what is fun in the area. But having my meal and just enjoying this and watching some booktube and catching up with friends via their videos and just having a good time. So it's going well. It's going pretty well. I got a whole bunch of Peruvian food after taking a fat nap instead of exploring Fall River today because I was really tired. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. I'm gonna eat Peruvian food and hang out in my hotel room, and that's gonna be my night, and that's kind of what this trip has become. Just sleeping and chilling. I'm fine with that. I don't need to maximize every single possible moment. It's okay. I'm just chilling. Wrapped up here at this main office and talked about some career things, which is pretty fun and exciting. I took a personality test last night for like MBTI, and I've taken it before and I got ENFJ, but for some reason this time it just didn't give me my results, where it's just like, we sent it to your instructor and they'll be in touch. And I was like, okay, I hope I got a good grade on personality. And then I also did the Clifton Strengths test and I got my full expanded 34 strengths. So hopefully that means something positive, but right now I'm going to Federal Hill in Providence to eat something, and I found some places on Yelp that have yummy lattes, like a matcha latte or something, and toasts and things. And every time I see these menus, I just want to like find these recipes and make them myself at home because there's just so many fun, yummy options. But knowing who I am probably going to try to get something that's a little bit strange and just have a little bit of fun with it, because I think part of this is just having a little bit of fun. But I have a 4.5 hour drive back to Jersey, so let's get started on the drive and hopefully get a little bit farther with my audiobook, because I'm 25% of the way into We Came to Welcome You, and there has been some bullshit happening recently. Chanel and I have been talking because people should not be doing that. Do not touch people's hair, especially without their permission, but just don't do it. And they're at this like welcome party for the main characters that came and moved into this neighborhood, and the main character Sol is black and her wife is Korean, and immediately one of the other people, I think he's like half of a gay couple, but I don't remember, it's like one of the other guys that's part of the whole place, is just like, oh, I guess affirmative action really worked out well for you. And they're like, hello? What the hell are you talking about? Because she works at Yale. And Like Alice, the wife, stands up for Sol and is just like, yeah, it really worked out well for me, an Asian woman. And they're like, that's not what I meant. It was just a joke. And it's like, read the world, man. Read the world. What are you talking about? Don't be talking like that. I've returned to the car after finding a very, very, very fun place which has crepes, scones, so much tea, lots of different options for all their like loose leaf teas, but also all of their fun like seasonal specialty teas, if you will. Did have a little bit of a mishap because the thing that like is a drink carrier that holds multiple drinks, because of course I got like 3 drinks, was folded weird on the bottom, so a bunch of stuff spilled. The thing that spilled was my Providence fog, which is like London fog, but they do something different. It seemed like so much of it spilled. Like I swear I thought it was like Noah's Ark Part 2. So much was coming out of it. It was all over like this little stool and on the floor, and I was cleaning everything up. But then when I got back to the car and I opened it up to take the tea bag out so that the liquid wouldn't drip down the string, it was basically completely full. There was like 1/8 of an inch of liquid missing. So I did try it. Now here's the thing. I really hate chamomile, and I don't know what they did to make this a London fog, Providence fog thing. Like, I don't think it's exactly chamomile. It just is like, there's a very smoky taste to it, which is fun because of a London fog, right? But there's something about it that's almost a little bit like chamomile. Like, I don't hate it, actually, so that means it can't be chamomile, but something about it, I don't know. This is a lavender cinnamon matcha here, and this one is a Mexican hot chocolate, which I really, really love. They're really so good. This is really good. It's a good green for a matcha, but also it's just really good. I can see there's like still some of it on the bottom, so I'll have to try to mix that up, but that's pretty good. I'm gonna try the Mexican hot chocolate now. So far, it's very minimally spiced. They said it was spiced with cinnamon. I don't really feel like I'm getting that much kick. I mean, they did do a good job of actually like melting chocolate and making it, and it's not like Swiss Miss, but the kick is really not there for me. I'm not rating this out of 10, but it's just not a 10. That's all I can say. So far, the matcha is the winner, but also I think the Providence fog just confuses me because I just don't know what's going on. But I also got this, I think it was bacon scallion scone. Looks really good. It smells amazing. And then also I got this sandwich. I forget exactly what it is, but it's like chicken, prosciutto, lemon dill, and some other stuff. And it's on naan bread. And this is my companion for the rest of my drive. I got this like sweet lemon crepe as well, but it's just not gonna be something I can eat on the road. So I'm taking it with me, and then we'll see if there's like a rest stop, because I do need to stop for a meeting at a certain point in time. So maybe I'll just have my crepe then. I also heard that Norwood pizza is very good. So since I'm passing through there, maybe I will try to find a good pizza spot. But so far I'm already behind schedule from when I wanted to get home. I'm still up here in Rhode Island and it's like 1 o'clock. So I really need to hit the road. I'm gonna keep listening to my audiobook because I have been enjoying it. I feel like the writing is very simple. Like, it's not really giving me anything extra. And I wish there was a little bit more. Like, I don't really like thrillers where they spend too long doing so much purple prose that you're like, I have no idea what's going on. But at the same time, when they're just straightforward, they're like, this happened, then this, then this, then that. I just feel like you could give me more. You could give me more. However, I do feel like I'm intrigued enough by the story that I am still enjoying it. And it's not like a major complaint where I feel like it's not, you know, a listenable story or a digestible story. It still feels like I can read it and enjoy it. It's just a minor complaint that I have. But I'm going to drink my many drinks, have my hopefully very delicious little naan bread sandwich, and keep going until I hit probably Connecticut. And then I'll stop somewhere, eat some more food, and make my way home. Just got some New Haven pizza from Modern A Pizza? I don't know why they put the A there. It feels like they were trying to hit the caps lock to capitalize the P in pizza, but everything around here is called A Pizza. I don't know if that's like a type of pizza or what's going on, but I just got a margarita with half mushroom, and they basically just made a margarita and put mushroom on half of it, and then I got garlic bread with mozzarella cheese. That's a weird combo, I'll be honest. I know that's weird, but my favorite kinds of pizza are margarita pizza and mushroom pizza. So naturally I was like, let me get that. And I was thinking about maybe getting a white pizza with artichoke, but I don't know. Again, like, I've been having some like vague troubles with like eating certain things, so I wanted to just stick to like the comfort things. It's usually so good, but I'm not feeling that kind of food right now. Here's a giant pizza in the back. I think I'm gonna just go straight home from here. But I am still listening to We Came to Welcome You, and I'm getting so annoyed with the protagonist because she just keeps picking fights with people and acting dumb. Like, I fully understand that she doesn't trust anybody in this neighborhood, as she shouldn't, but I feel like she isn't remotely acting like she wants to play along, so that if they were being sus and like terrible, that she would avoid being a target, or like she would keep herself vaguely safe. But at every single possible moment she antagonizes everyone, including her own wife, where she's like, fuck my wife, I'll just leave her on the side of the road for one corn chip. Like, I don't care about my wife suddenly. And I don't get it. Like, I thought they were a unit that was like very in love and stuff, but the way that they're written, they just seem to fight all the time. And part of that is the pressure of the main character having an alcoholism problem. But it also seems like that is not a two-way street, because Alice is allowed to drink a lot, but Soul isn't. And like, that's because Soul has the dependency on alcohol, but it also just seems like Alice is kind of like, I can just do whatever I want, kind of. I do think it's not her necessarily like drinking like crazy. I kind of think that like the neighbor got her really drunk, because there's one of the neighbors that that Alice is friends with from a long time ago that is fully the most suspicious person in this book. But just things don't make sense in this book. Like, Soul went over to this person's house and was eating cookies, and she looks at the cookies and she's like, there's something weird about this, but then she just keeps eating it. Then she doubles over in pain and she's like, oh my god, I feel like my stomach is like exploding, but I also know if I looked at it, it would look fine, but I'm having all this trouble and it feels so bad. And then she just keeps eating cookies doubled over in pain. And then the neighbor's like, you must have sympathy pains from me being pregnant. I don't understand how the people in this book function. And then, like, Soul just gets up and goes and looks at the bookshelf, and now her stomach doesn't hurt anymore. And it's not written in a way where I feel like that's the, like, creepy, scary thing of it being, like, sudden movement. Like, oh my gosh, like, that's kind of the fear thing where you're like, ooh, that scared me, but why? And what's really going on? It's not written in that way. It's just written as, like, disjointed stuff happens and few things make sense. And part of that is the excitement of the thriller and the mystery where you're kind of like, what's really going on? And there's this creepy stuff going on with the trees in the neighborhood. But other parts of it is just, I don't think the book is written in a way to establish these facts that we're supposed to find really creepy and scary. So, like, I'm gonna keep going, obviously, but it's frustrating. It's Coraline. Her eye just fell out. It's Jack the Pumpkin King. This one's me. Oh my god, Corpse Bride? Oh my god, what? Isn't that like marshmallow? Oh, it's Calcifer. Oh, that one's me. God. Ooh. This is such a classically good jack-o'-lantern. This one's so cute. They're in jail. Oh my gosh. Whoa. What is it? It's a skeleton. Like.
Oh, I see it now.
Oh, it's so pretty. Crunch. Oh my god, that's Captain Crunch. Whoa.
Really good, right?
It's fantastic. That's the guy, yeah, well, I think it's Elmo. Yeah, I think so.
It's a train, Evan. Look, on the big pumpkin.
Huh? Oh, I know this one. This is the Dune popcorn bucket, I'm pretty sure. Whoa, this one's so good. Actually, this one's me. Aww. Hey, I'm editing this vlog right now and realize that I never finished talking about this book, but I finished it. And now it's been a little while since I finished it, but let me try to talk a little bit about it. I am going to get into spoilery territory, so fair warning. There were some things that I did not like about this book, particularly the ending. I felt that the closer we got towards the end, the more the protagonist and her wife started to fight. And there's nothing wrong with just people, you know, talking it out and communicating during a story, but I just felt like they kept just being real assholes to each other, especially the main character's wife. Like, she just kept being really awful to her. And I was like, I feel like this is not how you treat someone that you dedicated your love and your life to. Like, they're being really awful to each other. And this is not a domestic thriller in that sense, from what I can tell. And there was this whole thing about quinoa in the neighborhood, about how all the white people would have a quinoa recipe, and then suddenly Sol comes home and then her wife is preparing quinoa and she's like, oh my god, she's assimilated, oh my god. And I was like, well, I mean, fine, I guess. Like, this is a cutesy little way to do that, but like, I don't really buy that. It just felt like a little heavy-handed for what was being done here. And then also there's a point where they fight really hard about something and then instantly are just like, let's bang, out of nowhere, and in like such a weird way. It was like they were talking about somebody who died and then they got really hot for each other, and I don't know, I mean, like, I feel like that's a good instance where we are allowed to yuck people's yums. That doesn't feel like the time or the place, I don't know. And then by the very end, the main character had gotten so fed up with this HOA. And really, it was not, like, mandatory to join the HOA, but she kept being pressured over and over and over again. And eventually, it seemed like she was, like, enacting this big plan to finally get back at everyone. And she was like, I'm gonna burn the whole thing down. And I'm gonna, like, stop it so it'll never hurt anybody ever again. And I'm gonna finally get to the bottom of this thing. And she discovers that part of this whole, like, group that they're a part of, Mainless Grove, is that it has essentially like tied everyone together so they're all bonded, so they all feel the same feelings. So when somebody is in pain, then everyone is in pain. But it also like picks off different people in the neighborhood over time, and it's like something that they want to spread to more and more and more people. So they were saying like, oh, it's really great that you go to Yale because you spread it to all your students, and it's almost like pollen, like something that can be carried from your body since you live there in Mainless Grove to other people. And everyone eventually gets infected with it and then would like have that same reciprocal feeling of empathy, like being an empath. But I mean, certainly I'm always one for like following an anti-hero, but Sol just does a complete 180 at the very end of the book where she's like, I'm gonna burn it all down, and then immediately the next page is like, I joined the HOA, I'm running for HOA president, and she got it. And I don't understand why anybody would vote for her, because this entire time she's been like, I hate all you guys, you all suck, you're all terrible, and then the next day she's like, please vote for me, and everyone just does. So that doesn't really make any sense, even with the whole like empathy cycle thing not really making sense to me. And then on top of that, she like willingly spreads the pollen to everybody, including all of her students. So she's very happy to do this clearly insidious bad thing. And like, I get that. I think the point of the story was to show how violent assimilation is when you're forcing, especially like, you know, people who don't fit the norm, like people of color, people with mental health issues, people who are queer, and forcing them to be more similar to these like very like white heteronormative standards. And especially in something like an HOA community where everyone's kind of like up in your business, it feels very personal. And I get that that's the point, and that I think what the author was trying to do was to show like how you eventually can find yourself in a situation where you just give up and you're like, you know what, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe after all of this, what am I complaining about? Because it's really not that bad. And I feel like that was supposed to be the point, but I don't feel like we saw Sol break down in that way. Like, we saw her continuously get angry about everything that was happening, and she met with different therapists, and when the therapist told her stuff that she didn't want to hear, she was like, this person's not for me, and I'm moving on. So like, she clearly had a good sense of like how to handle some of these mental health issues and like who she wanted to see about some of these problems that she was experiencing, because she felt like everybody else was gaslighting her. But then at the very ending, it just seems like she does just immediately fall into the HOA trap and is just like, never mind, all those things that we built up this whole entire book that we've led up to, actually, I changed my whole mind off screen, and now I'm the president of the HOA, and I'm very happy to spread all this. Also, the other thing that I thought was really stupid was that the Mainless Grove thing, there's a big revelation that Soul has when she finds out that actually it was Nameless Grove, because they were like, again, like preying on people, and all these people who had basically been lost to time because they were just used up by the insidious HOA stuff. And they were like, well, we can't call it Nameless Grove, so what if we call it Mainless Grove? Whoa, nobody will ever suspect. And she was like, oh my god, this is rocking my world. Really? 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 Anyway, this was just an interesting read for me. I mean, it was very fun to buddy read it, so I don't regret it, but I do think this was like a 2-star book for me, because overall, I don't really feel like the writing jived with me, and the way things eventually unfolded felt unsatisfying because of how we had built things up. And of course, I would love to see a happy ending, but even if we were going to end with something that felt more negative and even felt more true to the world, as the author has said in some articles, I do just feel like we could have built up to something where we would have had to let the dread settle in and then earn that ending, and I don't feel that we did that. So, bit of a miss for me, but I had a really fun road trip. I ate a lot of very yummy food, and I had a very good time chilling, and I guess not really doing anything in Fall River in particular, but hanging out in my hotel room. So at least I did that. Well, that was basically it for this vlog. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, you can click here for some more vlogs, or you can see my latest videos here, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.